family and friends. Welcome to the Woke Nation, our nation of factual truth, where we feel free to share knowledge and spread the knowledge of factual truth without fear, without favor, and without faint. Where we encourage us to live our lives and live it well through the knowledge of factual truth because it's our lives. And personally, I encourage you to enjoy your life wherever you are. Don't let anyone take advantage of you by converting you or convincing you to help them fulfilling their visions and dreams and revelations while you are suffering. And that God or that entity they ask you to believe in dare not help you. So wake up. Trash anyone or anything that doesn't help you. Okay? Anything that doesn't enhance your life, doesn't help you to live or have or lead a quality life, trash it. Happiness is not a gift. God cannot give you happiness. Prayer cannot give you happiness. Worshiping God cannot give you happiness. Whatever you are doing in the name of God or Jesus cannot give you happiness. You are the one who has the brain and the body to go after the happiness you need. Be happy. Don't be blessed. So you're welcome. I'm sharing with us today what I titled Every God is Wicked. Every God, none exempted. It doesn't matter the name of that God, and it doesn't matter how many people that believe in that God. It doesn't matter how many things they claim that that God has done in history or today or we do tomorrow. Every God is wicked, and if you can pay attention and listen, I will even use their book to show you how every God is wicked. So whether you say, no, I don't believe in the God of the Bible is dissenting with your God. It's dissenting with the whatever God you believe in. Whether you say that your brain is that God or anything is that God, so long you tag that thing God, it is useless to you. It's wicked to you. Because in your time of need, they never show up. In Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, welcome to Bible study. I'm considering maybe I will start doing a series of Bible study, like, taking Bible, one by one, maybe starting from Genesis. I can make it like 66 series, right? Like, I go to Genesis, I pick a topic and choose 10 portions there to share with us. Then Exodus till Revelation. I will try to see. I can do that. I can. I can because I'm real. Okay. Every God is wicked. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. God is speaking in this place. He said, my people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. Before you condemn the people of having no knowledge or being destroyed for lack of knowledge, tell me where that God was before they lack knowledge. Or why can't that God make them wise? Why? Before you tell me your people or God's people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, I want you to tell me where that God was. And why can't that God make them wise? If you can understand this, you will know it is a lie. According to Genesis chapter 3. Because God hated knowledge. Just Genesis chapter 2 and chapter 1. And chapter 3. In chapter 2, God said in verse 16 and 17, he said that he planted all the trees, but did not allow Adam and Eve that he created to gain access to the tree of knowledge. He said the day they gain access to the tree of knowledge, they will surely die. And the great news was this: when the serpent, representing the wise person like myself, showed up and taught them to reason, He did not tell them to disobey any God. He just asked them to reason. Use your brain. Since God did not put knowledge in you, but in a tree, he said, use your brain. And when they used their brain, it was what the serpent said that happened, not what God said. And that made God a liar. And God get upset that these people has gained knowledge. He said now that knowledge will lead them to live forever, eating the tree of life. He said, let us bar them from reaching that tree. But because it's a fairy tale, no force can stop you from reaching the tree of life through knowledge. When you have knowledge, you begin to expose things. You begin to invent things. You begin to do things. You cannot do anything without knowledge. I mean, anything that is real. You need knowledge to do it. You need knowledge to build. You need knowledge to do business. You need knowledge to acquire anything. If you lack knowledge, you will never acquire that. I mean, you never achieve that thing that worthwhile, especially to you. God hated people to gain knowledge. He wanted them to only believe and follow blindly, just like Adam and Eve in the garden. They were following God blindly. They were following the instructions of God blindly until their eyes opened. They see that they were naked. When you follow God's instruction, you are vulnerable. That means you are naked. You cannot live your life and you are vulnerable to anything. That's why they are afraid of Satan. They're afraid of devil, afraid of evil spirit everywhere, because they are following God blindly, not knowing that if that God actually exists, they don't need to fear any other spirit or any evil, because that God should be able to keep them, protect them from the evil which he also created. Hear what that God said. The reason why his people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. He said, because you have rejected knowledge. It's a lie. How can you accuse them of rejecting knowledge when you are God that can give them the ability to not reject knowledge? Why can't you give them, or why did you fail to give them the ability to accept knowledge? But hear the wickedness of this God. He said, because you have rejected knowledge, I also reject you as my priest. Because you have ignored the law of your God. If you can ignore the law of your God, you are greater than that your God. A God that cannot keep you within his word, a God that cannot keep you within his will, that God is beneath you. You are above than that God. You are smarter than that God. You are stronger than that God. You are nicer than that God. That's why even when God, that evil God, asks people to go and kill, when they think about it, they say, no, I'm not going to actually do this nonsense this guy want me to do. What do you mean wipe out every people? No, I'm going to save some. Because that's what wisdom will help you do. Verse 7 said, the more priests they were, the more they sinned against me. They exchanged their glorious God for something disgraceful. So God it can be exchanged. Think. Of course, if you cannot provide for your worshippers, they will exchange you for that thing you say is disgraceful. And imagine you are God competing with something disgraceful. You are Almighty God that created all things. You believe he made all things, yet he is jealous of something disgraceful. Say he's a jealous God. If you don't obey me, I will deal with you and your children. Evil God, wicked God, every God. You say, oh no, my own God is different. Your God is wicked too. Aren't you suffering? You are suffering. If you are not suffering, how about your children? How about your family members? The excuse you give, those of you that don't believe in the God of the Bible or God of Abrahamic religions, you said people has done wrong. That's why God cannot do anything. That's why evil is happening. the same thing in Hosea chapter 4. He said, because they rejected knowledge, he said he also rejected them to be his priests. Because they have exchanged him, God. They have sinned against him and exchanged their glorious God for something disgraceful. Come on, help me understand this. Somebody cannot give you what is fake and what is real, and you choose what is fake unless you are mad. And that's what religious people are. They are mad. That's why they have accepted fake God for reality themselves. You see them hating themselves, denying themselves for God they have not seen and cannot see. God is very wicked because you rejected knowledge. He rejects you now as his priest. You have been serving him. But because he said you sinned, you rejected him as he is the glorious God. You rejected him for something disgraceful. He's not even ashamed to utter that word. Because if God is even mighty, not almighty, ordinary mighty, he will not reject you for sinning. He will not reject you for rejecting knowledge. He will fix you. A God that cannot fix you does not exist. A God that cannot fix you is a fairy. It's not real. Trust that God. He cannot do anything to you. He cannot touch you. He cannot touch me. He cannot help you. He cannot hurt me. That's why I said that you don't know the God you worship. Everyone that worship God, you don't know that God. It is an evil idea that somebody passed on to you. And some of you have dedicated your life to defend this God to your own detriment. You don't care. You are ready to hate and kill for the God you don't know. And I ask that question, what can that your God do for you or do to me now in reality? Nothing real. Your God cannot do anything real. Whether for you or to me, it cannot happen. That's why I fuck without your God always. Every God is wicked. This is another place that show you every God is wicked. Job chapter 9. Job chapter 9 verse 23. It says, when a scourge brings sudden death, he mocks the despair of the innocent. That is God. Now with this translation, it says, when a good person dies, a good person is a religious person. Remember, God is good. A good person is a God-fearing person, not a natural person. I am not a good person. I am a great person because nature is great and I am great. I am a great person. Great people don't die. It is good people that dies because they taught them death. No, what we do as great people in nature is sleep. You haven't heard about some animals hibernating? They go into the earth for a season and they still survive and come out. It is natural, it's not spiritual. There's no heaven, there's no hell we will go to. If you don't want to listen to me, study animals or learn from animals. You are of the same source with them, which is nature. When a good person dies a sudden death, God sits back and laughs because God is wicked. The same thing happened in every religion, in every spirituality. The God they worship, the God they serve, the God they believe in never show up in their time of need to help them. You see them suffer to death. But in nature, no matter what we suffer, we sleep, we wake up again, refreshed, ready to go again, correcting our mistakes, our errors, knowing that it is not our weakness. It shows that we are living. That's what your mistake shows. It doesn't show you are weak. No, it doesn't show you are less privileged. No, you are great. When a good person dies, a good person that worship God, that serve God, dies a sudden death, God sits back and laughs. He never dare to raise them up. Have they tell us how many people that died in that fire in church, Christ Embassy, uh, 2 days ago? They may not tell us, or they may tell you any figure. It may be 100, they tell you it's only 5 people or 10 people. How about those over 1,000 people that died in the Mecca, worshiping Allah, the God of Islam? Did that Allah raise them back to life? No, they wasted money burying them too. Every God is wicked. How can you leave the comfort of your home to worship God in a distant country and that God failed to protect you? You die there, that God sits back and laughs. Every God is wicked, including your God is wicked. And I will never worship any God. Somebody said to me, saying that like I'm spreading, no, he said that Adam and Eve were in the garden until the devil bring hate. You know how Christians or believers in the Bible lies. I laugh. I say, this idiot. Well, okay, I said, okay, God is the author of hate. Okay, I show him where God said that Esau he hates. The devil did not say that. It's God that hated Esau, not Satan, not devil. And Bible did not say it was Satan that came into the garden. He said it was the serpent, not Satan. Christians always say it's Satan, but that place did not say Satan. It said the serpent, which is wise one. Remember, Jesus said, "Be as to his disciples that should be as wise as the serpents, not to be as Satan, wise as Satan. No, serpents in Egypt, even to today in nature, serpents represent wisdom rising up." Ooh. When they taught us to fear Satan, that today I'm having that nasty feeling. When anytime I see serpent, I feel like killing it. I don't want to see any snake. No matter, I've been forcing myself. Sometimes I will gaze on them, watching their video to see if I will get over with. I can't stand that. Anytime I see serpent, no matter the type of it, I want to kill it. I don't want to see it. Do you know that's the same thing that happens among people? There are people, when they see you, they have that feeling they just want to kill you. They don't want to see you. It's natural. It's natural. He said, when a good person dies a sudden death, God sits back and laughs. Think about all the people you know that have died in one way or the other. Many of them claimed as they step in this year, they will not bury any dead or they will not die. Many of them have died and many of them have buried the dead. Their pastors won't tell you the problem of his own family. When a Pastor Deboye's first son died, did he see him maybe repented and said, well, I think this thing I'm preaching is not true? No. He continued in the lies. He don't care. All he cares is what he's gaining from preaching God and Jesus, the fame, the popularity, the wealth or riches, robbing people. The Christ Embassy Church burned. Chris Oyakhilome also followed the line that other pastors use when their church burned. They will tell you we will build a bigger one. God let it happen so that we can build a bigger one. So the same way God let you suffer for them to be rich, right? And it is people that will raise that money. God cannot rebuild that church. What happened to his miracle? What happened to what God cannot do does not exist? What happened to all with God? All things are possible. Why is it always people building and rebuilding, yet the same idiots doing that believe with God all things are possible, that God can do anything, that without God they are useless? I hate religion. John chapter 4. I want to show you something again, because most of you that believe God was a person, a being. God is never, it's just an idea, a word people made up. to deceive other people. Let me see how this translation put it. Verse 20, I think verse 18, all right, or 19. Jesus and the woman of Samaria. And Jesus said to him, the woman answered, I don't have a husband. No, that one is not. Jesus said, go bring your husband. Then the Samaritan said, verse 22. Jesus said to the woman, the Samaritan woman, you Samaritans don't really know the one you worship. You see, this is contemporary English version. He said, you Samaritans don't really know what you worship. You don't really know the one, sorry, not one. You don't really know who the one you worship. If you read it with King James Version or New King James Version, he said, you Samaritans, or you don't know what you or who you worship or what you worship. But I will still read it. It said, but we Jews do know the God we worship, and by using us, God will save the world. Do you hear that? He said, we Jews know the God we worship. Why the same Bible, the same Jews said in the Bible through Moses, he said, remember, you have not seen God, though God has no form. You only heard his voice. How can you only hear God's voice and claim to know God? You don't know who you worship. You don't know the God you worship. God is not using you. And you cannot save the world. You cannot. The Jews cannot save the world. The Arabs cannot save the world. The Europeans cannot save the world. Because the world existed before them. We are the world. We are the one that can save, and we save the world. Africans, the ancient original people. Faith cannot change the world or save the world. The fact is this, the world don't even need to be saved. We are coming to reclaim our place, original place, and recover our heritage to continue where we stopped. Because they stopped us, according to Genesis chapter 11, verse 9. They stopped us. But our slavery condition is not permanent. Let me read it with the New King James Version. Verse 22 of John chapter 4. It says, you worship what you do not know. See, when you follow King James, you will find out that it contradicts, or other versions remove certain words or change certain words. Instead of what, they put who, or the one, or they put God. But it's actually what? Made up something. You worship what you do not know. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews, which is a lie. He said, you worship what you do not know. We also worship what we do not know. You don't worship who? You worship what? What other people made up. That's what you worship. Whether in spirituality or in religion, if you are praying, if you are worshiping, no matter the name you give to that thing, it is what other people made up. You worship what you don't know. And you that claim to know who you worship, you are a liar. You don't know who you worship. Because if you know that person, you will not dare worship him or her. They force you to worship somebody. Like they force you to worship celebrities. They force you to worship politicians. They force you to worship ministers of God. They force you from birth. They force you. It was never your choice. It was beaten into you. Started with your parents, your religious parents. Force you to believe. Release you to those lions to devour you in schools, devour you in religious gatherings. And today you're opening your stinking mouth to tell me, nobody forced me to believe in God. Nobody forced me to worship God. God is what people made up, and you are worshiping it. No God helps their worshippers. Every God is wicked. Why do I say this? Because they don't care about their people, their poor worshippers, their vulnerable worshippers, their suffering worshippers. These worshippers suffering. For example, a place in Nigeria, a place called Nigeria. Go there and see how Christians and Muslims are suffering there. They have churches everywhere, mosques everywhere. They pray to this God every time of the day. Everywhere they are, they worship this God. Yet this God don't care about them. They are suffering. Now you see people going to slaughter cow in the public to steal the meat to eat. Hi, hunger in the land. From cashless policy to no food policy. These people are suffering. What they have to give them is another national anthem. What they have to give them, another hope. What they have to give them is, don't worry, keep calling on the God, on the Lord. Don't worry if you're suffering. Continue praying to the Lord. He will come through. You know, he may come late. He never deny. He will come. You know, he's not. Where was he before you start suffering? They watch these their poor worshippers, you know, wasting their lives or wasted and dies without intervening. These people believe in divine intervention, yet he never intervene. Then in spirituality, they tell you you are divine, you are this or that, there's divine that created you. Yet it's useless to you. In reality, it cannot help you. In religion, they tell you, no, we country, we happen, it happened. Your parents died. Your siblings died. You have seen people around you dying who believe in that God. He never show up to help them. All they do is to blame their fellow human being. Why are you not giving to the poor? Why he come to help you? You don't believe. You know you are wicked. Give us, give us take away or what they used to call it. All that nonsense. People promise you money for you to share their posts and all that, and you think you are living. That's why you would have not been born. And that's why I keep telling you, stop, don't born children in poverty. Don't born even a child in poverty. You say, but you have a child. What are you saying? Yeah, that's what when I was a Christian. What stopped me from having more children? Why do I have only a daughter, not even a son? As Igbo man, you know how Igbo people enthrone son over daughter, which is evil. I hate it. And even when I was a Christian, when we had that baby, I said, through her, I will show people what I believe or how a woman should be treated. I'm happy that I'm no longer a Christian, and I can boldly say, as I've been saying, I will never give my daughter's hand in marriage. I will never sell my daughter into slavery to serve any man for any reason. Even if I don't have any money, I'm happy. She's grown now and she's in America, so she's living her life. Long time ago, she started driving from 17 years old, which my parents didn't do for me. My parents didn't even do for me what people that have money they're supposed to do for their children. Then when you go and take it, they say you're stealing, you are a thief. Evil people. Many children suffering and dying because of religious parents who decided to have them in poverty. And then you begin to blame spirits, blame village people, blame this one, that one. But you are part of the problem. When you have children in poverty, you are creating more problem. You are not creating solution. That's why politicians are using them. People are using them. They are becoming prostitutes, thieves everywhere. What they don't supposed to do in the first place, had it been you have money to train to take care of them as you're supposed to. Think, my people. Think, my people. If you can if you can research about marriage, you will find out that it was only poor people that were giving their daughters hand in marriage. They went as far as using even their unborn child to borrow money from the rich. They betrayed their little children to rich ones. That's why Igbo people will tell you, Ogo Buchionye. That's Christians Igbos. It's not an Igbo original anything. No, marriage was not, we are in nature, there's no marriage. What we had was family. Why? Not wife, slave. No. Think about it. But today, even rich men are selling their daughters because they brought it with religion and marry it. Okay, yeah, they have to marry out. So why the sons not marry out too? Some even sponsor people to come and marry their daughters because they are ugly or maybe they have nasty attitude. No man want to marry them. He say, okay, I will give you money to. They don't need to be married in the first place. Why can't you establish them the same way you establish your sons? They came through the same way. So why have you lifted men over women? And you said you want me to argue with you. I am different. You have not seen my type before. All this God watching their worshippers wasted and dies without them intervening. These gods send destroyers to destroy their own worshippers. In closing, let me read it. Isaiah chapter 54. Isaiah 54. Oh, Christianity, man. I was into it. And I'm happy that I experienced Christianity. So no one will come up today and tell me bullshit. Whenever any Christian, anybody that believes Bible say something, I go to Bible and bring something to show them that they are wrong. 54:16 Isaiah. They always only quote 17. They don't want you to see 16. And they don't know 17 is talking about King Nebuchadnezzar and the likes. Those servants God used to destroy his own people or punish his own people. Idiot. Idiot of a God that uses people to punish his own people. He uses wicked people or evil people to punish his own people. That God is evil. Let me read it with boom. NIV. What does NIV say? Before I go to King James, verse 16. Oh, the same thing the other one. It says, see, it is I who created the blacksmith, who fans the coal into flame and forges a weapon fit for his work. And it is I who have created the destroyer to wreak havoc. God is the one who have created or who has created the destroyer to wreak havoc. It is not Satan. It is God who created the destroyer to wreak havoc, to destroy lives, to destroy properties. That's why he raised those destroyers, called the people of Israel, and asked them in Deuteronomy chapter 6 and 7 to go and kill out the people and possess what those people labored for. And the same God tell you, thou shalt not steal. Stealing is not bad. They tell you, do not steal, so that you don't steal back what they stole from you. Think. Let me read it with King James Version. Or NIV for New King James Version. 16. Isaiah 54:16. It said, behold, I have created the blacksmith who blows the coal into the fire, who brings forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the spoiler to destroy. God has created the destroyer to do what? And the spoiler to destroy. That's why verse 17 tell you, no weapon fashioned against that destroyer will prosper. Because that's his servant. He said, any tongue that rise against those destroyers, he said, will be condemned in judgment. He said, this is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, Nebuchadnezzar and the rest, whom God used to destroy his own people of Israel and the Judah. He used the Babylonians and the Assyrians and other people to punish his own people. They are the spoilers he sent to destroy his own people. That's why that temple that Solomon built is not standing today because God sent the destroyers to destroy it. And he said, no weapon fashioned against those destroyers will prosper. That's why the people of Israel failed to defeat the Assyrians and the Egyptians, like Nebuchadnezzar, that God actually sent against them. Your God will never solve your problem because your God is the creator of your problem. I don't have one. When you have God, you have problem. When you don't have God, you don't have problem. That's why I'm calling us. Let us reject and remove, get rid of every God so that we can build for ourselves a better world as we were doing in Genesis chapter 11, 1 to 4, until this evil God appeared in verse 5 to 9, confused us and scattered us. That's how they stopped us from building. And today we become believers. They converted us to become believers. People that used to be builders before are now believers. Instead of them to say again, let us come and build, let us come and make this, they say, come, let us worship. Come, let us pray to this God. Maybe he will remember us and solve our problem. Fuck that God. Every God is wicked, and I trust every God. I fear no God, and I don't respect your religion of that God. God